Good evening, welcome to the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majid Sultan greets His Excellency the President of Italy on his country's National Day. During his meeting with the governors, His Excellency the Minister of Interior affirms on the importance of continuing work in line with the vision of His Majesty the Sultan. And the Supervisory Committee for the preparation of the 11th Five-Year Development Plan emphasizes on the necessity for integrated roles among various government and private entities to achieve the goals of Oman Vision 2040. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent cable greetings to His Excellency Sergio Mattarella, President of Italy, on his country's National Day. His Excellency General Sultan Mohammed al-Nomani, Minister of the Royal Office, received Vice Admiral George M. Wyckoff, Commander of the United States Naval Forces Central Command. The Minister of the Royal Office welcomed the guest, who expressed his thanks and appreciation to the Sultan of Oman for enhancing cooperation to achieve a common interest between the two countries. They also exchanged views on a number of topics of mutual interest. Also, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Nasser Zahabi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, received today Vice Admiral George M. Wyckoff, Commander of the United States Naval Forces Central Command, and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, the two sides exchanged views and discussed matters of mutual interest. His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal al-Busaidi, Minister of Interior, affirmed at the beginning of the first meeting of the year with their Highnesses and Excellencies, the governors and the Ministers General Diwan, on the importance of continuing work in line with the lofty vision of His Majesty the Sultan in order to enhance the roles of the governorates and to combine community efforts for the development and prosperity of the governorates. During the meeting, a number of topics were discussed, including assigning governors to take executive steps towards implementing the royal orders to activate the work of marriage support funds in the governorates in accordance with the standards that will be issued by the Minister of Interior, which will be implemented before the end of this June. A number of topics of mutual interest were also reviewed, and the appropriate decisions were taken regarding them, in addition to following up on the executive position of the number of recommendations of the municipal councils. The Supervisory Committee of the preparation of the 11th Five-Year Development Plan reviewed the implementation status of the plan and the draft of the main document. The committee meeting discussed the strategic programs linked to national priorities, approaches, and upcoming steps to complete the preparation of the plan. The committee emphasized on the necessity for integrated roles among various government and private entities and civil society institutions to ensure the preparation of a realistic and effective development plan that contributes to achieving the goals of Oman Vision 2040. The meeting was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Saeed bin Mohammed al-Sakri, Minister of Economy, Chairman of the committee. The actual financial performance of the state's general budget for last year recorded a 16% increase in public revenues, reaching 12.7 billion Oman Riyals compared to the previous year. Actual public spending increased by 5%, reaching approximately 12.2 billion Omani Riyals compared to the approved spending. This was due to increased social spending and support for stimulating economic activity, including increased expenditures on petroleum product subsidies and increased spending on developmental projects. The state's general budget recorded financial surplus of approximately 540 million Oman riyals for last year. The Oman Investment Authority received global praise for its strategic investment approach and role of driving sustainable economic growth. A report by SWF Global highlighted the authority's successful international partnerships and reinvestment in international priorities. Here's more on the reports.
The Oman Investment Authority, OIA, is charting new ground, forming strategic partnerships with countries across the globe, promoting economic diplomacy, and reinvesting globally, generating value into Oman's national development to secure Oman's place on the international investment map. This proactive approach has earned OIA commendations in a recent SWF Global report. Among the recent strategic partnerships is the signing of a joint fund agreement with Algeria worth 115 million Omani riyals, a partnership with Turkey's OYAK fund to establish a joint investment fund valued at 192 million Oman riyals. Increased commitment to Uzbek Oman Investment Company, invested in the Vietnam Oman Investment Company with investments nearing 154 million Oman riyals since inception. Acquired a stake in the Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company XAI. Partnered with Golden Gate Ventures Singapore to launch a 38 million Oman riyals joint fund. The investment focus areas include Omani-Algerian Joint Fund, which targets mining, food security, and pharmaceutical sectors, and the Vietnam Oman Investment Company, which targets solar energy, infrastructure, healthcare, education, and food sectors.
I would say it's the unique value proposition when it comes to the strategic investments or strategic partnerships, because we are trying to focus on three main pillars when it comes to making investments with strategic partners abroad. First pillar, of course, is to strengthen the strategic relations that we have with other countries. And the second pillar is trying to make financial returns, because again, this is within the mandate of OIA. And again, some of the returns that we make is reinvested back in Oman. The third pillar is, of course, bringing in kind of more FDI and bringing local or enhancing the local industries here in Oman, and strengthening and promoting the development of the national economy.
The report also noted that OIA's focus extends to direct investments in global companies, which primarily aim to localize advanced global technologies in the Sultanate of Oman, in addition to generating returns that are later reinvested into local projects.
Another example I would bring is the investment in Tidal Vision, which is an American company addressing some of the concerns regarding air pollution and water pollution, and it's bringing some technological solutions into that space. Another example I would say is the partnership with Golden Gate Ventures of $100 million US. And as a result of this, there is a setup of an office here in Oman, and through that office there is an investment in a local company called Bayanat. So most of the investments we made, either international, direct, or through joint ventures, they have this mandate to bring the companies here in Oman and try to replicate the business model here in Oman.
The report further stated that since mid-2022, OIA has successfully divested from 19 assets, generating returns exceeding 2.7 billion Omani riyals. By integrating global strategy with national priorities, the Oman Investment Authority is driving Oman's next phase of growth, rooted in innovation, powered by partnerships, and designed for sustainability. Reporting from Oman Investment Authority, this is Saleh Bakhalfan Al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Local liquidity witnessed a growth of 7% by the end of last January, to reach more than 25 billion and 61 million Omani riyals. More figures to be shared in the following report.
Local liquidity witnessed a remarkable growth exceeding 7% by the end of last January on a yearly basis, reaching more than 25 billion and 61 million Omani riyals. Data released by the National Centre for Statistics and Information indicated that the total loans and financing provided by commercial banks and Islamic windows rose by 6.5%, amounting to 32,476,600,000 Omani riyals. The average interest rate on total loans also increased by about 1%, reaching more than 5%. Similarly, the private sector deposits at commercial banks and Islamic windows rose by more than 7%, exceeding 20,967,000,000 Omani riyals. The total foreign assets at the Central Bank of Oman also increased by more than 5%, exceeding 7,096,000,000 Omani riyals by the end of last January. Meanwhile, the narrow money supply, which consists of total cash outside the banking system, in addition to current accounts and demand deposits in local currency, saw a noticeable increase of 15.5%, registering a total of 7,032,500,000 Omani riyals. Conversely, the issued currency decreased by more than 8%, totaling 1,443,600,000 Omani riyals. Furthermore, the effective exchange rate index of the Omani riyal recorded an increase of about 3%, reaching approximately 119 points by the end of last January.
Still to come on News Bulletin. The Environment Authority in South Al-Batna Governorate has released a lapwing voucher into the Al Sareen Nature Reserve. In other news, explosions in western Russia caused two bridges to collapse and derailed two trains overnight. Officials say today, without saying what has caused the blast. In one of the incidents, 7 people were killed and dozens were injured. The first bridge in the Bryansk region on the border with Ukraine collapsed on top of the passenger train yesterday, causing the casualties. State-run Russian railways say that the train's driver was among those killed. Hours later, officials say the second train derailed when the bridge beneath it collapsed in the nearby Kursk region, which also borders Ukraine. Russian Investigative Committee, the country's top criminal investigation agency, said they would be investigating the incidents as potential acts of terrorism. In Nigeria, torrents of pre-dawn rain unleashed a flooding that killed at least 111 people in a market town where northern Nigerian farmers sell their wares to traders from the south, officials said on Friday, as they predicted that the death toll would grow. Communities in northern Nigeria have been experiencing prolonged dry spells worsened by climatic change and excessive rainfall that led to severe flooding during the brief wet season. The rainfall hits the town of Mokwa, nearly 380 kilometers west of Abuja, which is a major meeting point where traders from the south buy beans, onions and other foods from farmers in the north. Becky and the Sultan Sohar Port and Free Zones launched the Sohar Emergency Response System to enhance its emergency preparedness and capabilities, enhancing safety, protecting personnel and assets, and ensuring operational continuity with the integrated system. The system is a unique model in the region. It was established as a joint initiative between Sohar Port and Free Zones and its tenant companies, creating a unified system managed on behalf of the entire Sohar Port and Free Zone. The system works to respond quickly to emergencies, reducing the risk of injury, protecting facilities, maintaining business continuity, and strengthening Sohar Port and Free Zone's position as a secure and sustainable industrial hub. This project underscored the ability of Sohar Port and Free Zone to unify the efforts of all stakeholders under the common goal of protecting individuals and assets through teamwork and joint coordination. The event was brought by His Excellency Engineer Saeed bin Hamoud Al-Maali, Minister of Transport, Communications and Information Technology. The Oman Hajj mission took part in the 49th edition of the Great Hajj Symposium organized by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The symposium shed light on the extensive efforts made to facilitate the pilgrim's journey from arrival to departure, highlighting the provision of integrated healthcare services as well as ensuring their safety and security through advanced permits and precautionary measures. It also reviewed the key infrastructure and service development projects in Mecca and the holy sites, with a particular focus on the quality of healthcare offered to pilgrims. The total outstanding credit extended by the banking sector in Oman rose by 9% by the end of April, reaching 33.6 billion Omani riyals. According to data issued by the Central Bank of Oman, credit extended to the private sector grew by 7%, amounting to 27.8 billion Omani riyals. The data also showed that non-financial cooperation accounted the largest share of private sector credit, representing 46.6%, followed by individuals at 44%. And finally, the Environment Authority in South Al-Batna Governorate has released a lapwing vulture into the Al Saray Nature Reserve after rescuing it, providing medical treatment and rehabilitating it at the Biodiversity Center in Barka. The bird was fitted with satellite tracking device to track its movements, determine its geographic location and migration path, and study its behavior. The lapwing vulture is considered an endangered species of vulture according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List due to its significant decline in numbers. It lives on rocky slopes and extremely rugged areas in high mountains and caves, and contributes significantly to maintaining ecological balance. You're watching the Sultan of Oman television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty the Sultan greets His Excellency the President of Italy on his country's National Day. During his meeting with the governors, His Excellency the Minister of Interior affirms on the importance of continuing work in line with the vision of His Majesty the Sultan. And the Supervisory Committee for the preparation of the 11th Five-Year Development Plan emphasizes on the necessity for integrated roles among various government and private entities to achieve the goals of Oman Vision 2040. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all the crew here and myself, Suhail Al-Kindi, thanks for your time. Good night.